Hello, greetings. Morning, afternoon, evening. You're on to Austin again live, and I'm coming to you this faithful morning with another wonderful broadcast. And I want to pause for a while to be grateful to God for how far I have been taken or carried so far in the TBC community. It's been really wonderful. Been filled with a whole lot of challenges. There are good times, there are bad times. And there is actually nothing on earth that will be worthwhile that doesn't come with a reasonable level of effort, persistence, discipline, sacrifices. And I can tell you that it's been altogether wonderful in our community. And there are a whole lot I have to discuss with us today, very briefly. And those of us who will be coming to my broadcast, I would appreciate it if you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Also, a thumbs up will be very, very helpful because that's social proof, you know. So let's go into the main content. In our meeting of yesterday, and I would crave your indulgence, come in for our meetings. It's called mass adoption meetings. It usually holds Mondays through Fridays, 4 p.m. West African time. And in the meeting of yesterday, I had to look in depth into the administration, and how passionate he has been for this cause that has been set up by him. Come to think about it, most of us in this world, we are all acting selfish. We never even had interest for our neighbors because we barely got along. We had very little. We managed a whole little. We can't help a whole lot of people because we knew that what comes in every month was so small. We had a system. We believed that that is how we're going to succeed. We never thought of being ever billionaires, let alone thinking of being millionaires. Yeah, at some point in life, I was a millionaire. And I kept moving on that pace. But then things actually happened and I fell short of a millionaire. I'm still struggling to step up to that level again. That's wonderful. But then the words of the administration was so heartwarming. He made some statements that made me, I don't know, I fell in love again with this whole TBC community. We are building a system that will stand the test of time. And that's a system based on the principle called love. And let me tell you something about love. Love has to deal with sacrifices. If you say you love someone, you know very well that the person is not perfect, but still you bear with the person's other side, the weak side of the person. You are persistent, you are patient, you care for the person, even when the person acts in a way that it's not pleasing to you. That's the kind of environment we are building in the TBC community. Right? So based on this, let me just quickly go into the content. It has already been addressed. He read through the content, but I think it's also okay that I come out and give another, I say it out again so that the public can take note of it. And also beware that if you are still having a second mind, consolidate your mind on this system. You would never find a better system outside there like TBC community. TBC community is building love and respect. It is training individuals to love and respect each other, to regard your brother, to regard your sister, irrespective of your country, irrespective of your race. Everybody matters. That's what we are doing. Now, based on that, I'll share my screen. Now, after that, we are going to say something else. Have you seen what's happening in the coin market cap? And that's actually funny. The coin market cap is bleeding, and that's a system that is very volatile. I really wonder why people are still working with a system that doesn't stand value long term. Yes, it goes up, it goes down, but how many merchants can hold on to Bitcoin? That's the same thing that applies to every other coin. Forget about whether it's a stable coin or not. It is still the same system of control. Wake up if you are sleeping. Now, that will be the last thing I'll talk about, and then we conclude for the day. So let me quickly share my screen, and then let's see what the administration gave out yesterday. Honestly speaking, I don't know. The wisdom behind the TBC community, it's influenced by a good spirit and not a bad spirit. Now, the spirit that you are seeing now in our elite system is fueled by a concept. It is fueled by greed. And that's a spirit that says, I want it all. I want it all. I want it all to myself. It's seen everywhere. Everybody that is in positions of power are amassing as many wealth as they think it's okay, because they are filled with the scarcity mindset. It's never enough. Why not come into a system based on abundance? That's what we want to offer you. Remember, come in with love and respect for each other and pay the required sacrifice. That sacrifice is easy. It's opening your mouth and telling the world that we can make this world a better place. I don't think it's so much of a difficult thing. Well, let's go into the content, the main content. Pay good attention, because there was a flavor that the administration gave, and there was something that really touched my heart yesterday, and I think I should share it with us. After I made a commendation and I made my contribution to how he addressed us, I told him that he has acted as a father figure and he has shown real love and respect. And I think that he is the most qualified person to answer that name, called the administration of the Kringle Private Society. He's also breathing upon us, like when you see an egg, or it's in eggs, several eggs laid by a hen. The hen doesn't just leave the egg, he sits on the egg and then make sure that she incubates the egg very well, so that all those eggs can become chicks at some point. And then over time, they will grow into becoming a fellow hen that will repeat the same cycle. That's exactly what the administration is doing. He is building your mind, he's building your reasoning, he's building everything about you to be able to take over from him. Don't get it twisted that the administration is handing over to a group of 111,111 doesn't make him completely irrelevant. No, he is now going to step in to oversee how the administration is going. It's actually a planned system. We have made a global planned system to make this world a better place. And the only way we can take power from the elites is by doing what? Planning, and then getting it properly organized, building in love and respect, uniting in such a way that it will be impossible to bring us down. Just watch how the system will unfold. I think I've buttressed enough. I've said enough. Let me now read through the content of what the administration has. Now, the comeback is always stronger than the setback. We already had a setback. I don't know if to call it a setback, but it's what you call, we reinvented the wheel. We advanced the course. We built the system, a better system. When you come down here, this particular one, the Mars adoption team voted to restructure Bitcoin Bounty. Yeah, we kind of reinvented the wheel to make it better long term, because we want humanity to accept us as an alternative to the current system, and they will accept us. Read my lips. They will accept us when the time comes. Most likely this year or maybe next year. I do not know. It's us, the TBC community, that would determine when that will happen. So pay attention. The comeback is always stronger than the setback. I like this cursive writing. Comeback, setback. It's beautiful. And I must admire and applaud whoever it is that is taking time to build this concept. I don't know if it's the administration himself or he has a team of graphic artists, but for everything he's trying to say, he has a pictorial representation of it. Now, this particular article is very short, so I'm going to be brief. Now, a few of you, including myself, have been affected by recent restructuring of the Bitcoin bounties. I'm sorry if it threw off your cash flow temporarily. Yeah, it did. Honestly, yeah, it did. But that's natural, because when you are building a new course, you are going to see good times and bad times. But then your mindset tells you that it's going to be momentarily, and then this stage will pass. That's the mindset I have adopted. So throw off your cash flow temporarily while we reset. Now, for your information, the Bitcoin bounty should be up today. It should be up today. So beware. Between now and most likely 9-10, before the end of today, being the 22nd of Wednesday, 23rd Wednesday, it's going to come back on. Now, but as I mentioned before, the alternative of throwing in the towel and quitting was offered to the Mars adoption team, and quickly rejected. It's not possible. I've put in enough of my life. It's not been so long. It's approximately 5 years, or yeah, 5 years plus into this course. And I have sold out my life to this course. It's not something that I'll do 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. No. I've sold out my life, whether it's going to be good times or bad times. I've given up myself to make sure that this system succeeds. At whatever cost, I am ready to do that. That's what you call unity. If you have 1 billion people that believe that whatever it takes, we will succeed, then TBC succeeds. It's that simple. So I have that mind. I don't know if you have that mind, but if you have that mind, we can make this thing happen. So as that happened, we quickly said, nah, we need a way out. And that way out was what gave birth to what? Restructuring of Bitcoin bounties. So um, we are taking a stand. That was yesterday's keyword. Now we are taking a stand, and it is better that a few of us suffer a short-term setback than it would be to disappoint the millions of TBCians hoping TBC will raise them out of a miserable financial life. Because trust me, nobody enjoys this system. We are just trying to get by. That's what we are doing. And if TBC succeeds, I think that's saying goodbye to that kind of system. We are now going to usher in a system of what? Abundance. So going forward, outside of TBC, most members are never going to become millionaires, let alone billionaires. The price to become a millionaire or a billionaire is not free and painless. Beware, it's not free and painless. It comes at a price. Open your mouth and speak. It's not just about broadcasting. Meet people one-on-one. Don't just fold your hands. Let me tell you something about folding your hands. At some point, the system will shift to a gold-backed system. When it shifts to a gold-backed system, if you are doing the same thing, like paying the subscription fee by yourself, and you are not leveraging on people, distributing the load to a number of people so that it gets easier for you, it will become much more difficult to keep paying from your pocket. That's why the system is actually going to reshuffle wealth as we build into 1 billion. It's going to reshuffle wealth. Don't think that the coins in your TBC wallet will always be there and you don't pay the necessary price to keep it running. At some point, if you fail to keep up with that responsibility of upholding your title as a billionaire or as a millionaire, it will recycle the wealth to the hands of those who are able to understand the system and go forward. So it's not going to come at a price. It's not going to come for free. It comes at a price. It is not free and painless. It comes at a price, both on the side of the technical team, administrative team, and those on the field. You and I, we have the price we pay. Now, I support this current setback. I suppose this current setback is part of that pain, and we must pass through to truly appreciate the sweetness of the future success of the mass adoption team. These guys will comprise of 111,111. Let me tell you something too. At some point, they are what you call a stream of responsibility that will be anchored by the mass adoption team. Now, I don't know, but then I see a time when the core team will become 111,111, meaning that it becomes a responsibility, a lifetime responsibility as a mass adoption team to make a payment. Now, at some point, the responsibility that will be on the TBC community will be such that a monthly subscription again wouldn't suffice. At this moment, it can suffice, but as the system begins to anchor or carry the load of humanity, you may not be able to pay monthly anymore. You may need to start making a yearly subscription fee, but that's in a short while. It's not something that is going to take so long before it's actualized. It's in a short while from now. So I'm giving you an idea of what it takes to be in this mass adoption team. There is going to be all manner of challenges from left, right, and center. Learn the system, understand the system, teach the system, replicate. We are building 1 billion active members, 1 billion informed people The only way we can change the world is by making sure that we are well informed. If we are not properly informed, well, I don't know, we may not achieve our goal. But trust me, we will achieve our goal. It's already going to happen. You don't know, but then there is what you call immense power in the mind of human beings. As the system begins to disintegrate, the elite system, you will find out that people will find a way to keep their resources. They will find out that there is a private system called the Gringo Private Society, and that's where people will anchor their resources. Yeah, it may be difficult to comprehend at the moment, but I think by the grace of God, I have a foresight of what TBC will be in a short while. If you don't know, at least follow me and listen to me as I give these updates. Now, am I tired? This is the administration asking you. Am I tired? Yes. That's interesting. Yeah, of course, you can get tired, but that doesn't mean you give up, okay? Now, of course, the administration can't give up because that's his destiny. He was created to fulfill this purpose, to lift humanity out of misery, poverty, and all that into a realm of abundance. So being tired is normal. That's because he's human. Do I think about quitting? Yes. That doesn't mean he's thinking of quitting anytime soon because he has to fulfill his purpose. There are some people that were created and brought to this earth to fulfill a goal. Do you also know that if you pass on without fulfilling your goal, your own creator may reject you? Now, I'm addressing you who will listen to me in the course of time. Your own creator can say, I put you on this earth, you didn't fulfill your purpose. Well, I gave you everything that was needed and you said no, you couldn't fulfill your purpose. I don't know. So if you're listening to me and you want to be in the mass adoption team, be prepared to pay the price in love and respect. Remember, love comes with sacrifice. Now, am I just as human as you? Yes, I love that. He's as human as I. Although sometimes there is something that goes on in my brain that thinks he's not just human, he's more of a human. He's more of an angel than a human, because for people to have this kind of mind, it can only come from, I don't know, it can only come from above. It could have only been put by the creator of heaven and earth, who loves humanity and wants the best for humanity. So let's continue. Now, I pay myself last. I hope you all know that. Yes, I'm aware. My conversation with God, this is the part I want us to pay good attention to. My conversation with God is very interesting. He's asking, Father, would I have made more money for my family doing something different at this point, 5 years into TBC? Answer, yes, of course, much more. But in the end, now God is telling him, in the end, nothing will pay off bigger than TBC for you and your family and for all of humanity. Trust me, son, these setbacks will pass quickly and you will have all of your needs met. Now, let's pause for a moment and then think about Chinese bamboo tree. Have you seen the gestation period of Chinese bamboo tree, or the time it takes for a Chinese bamboo tree to grow into full maturity? Now, I think you should learn from the Chinese bamboo tree. It remains on the ground for some years, and then when it sprouts, it grows so fast that it's usually the strongest, biggest, tallest tree in the forest. And we are a literal manifestation of the Chinese bamboo tree. It looks like, how long will it take us to get to 1 billion? I can tell you categorically, within the shortest possible time. We're not talking of the next 10 years. We're not talking of the next 20 years. We're talking of less than 5 years. Less than 5 years from now, we will not just be globally adopted. We'll become so strong that people will prefer the Kringle Private Society system than the coin market cap system. They will prefer the Kringle Private Society system than the central bank digital currency system. That's how powerful we'll be in a short while. That's why these things going on is called part of our growing pains. Now, the TBC message is saving souls. It is saving souls. and not just bodies, not just physical bodies. Saving souls because the elite has planned a system of global control. And that's what the Bible talked about in the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Go and refer back to it. They are building that system, and provided the TBC community exists, it won't happen. Listen to me very well. Provided the TBC community exists, they can decide to do whatsoever they like, but we are standing as a gap. We will not allow them to achieve their goal. And that's the truth. We are setting up a system based on the concept called Hydra. Allow time to pass, and you understand that we are inspired by the Spirit of God. And no matter how the elites try, light will remain, darkness will not comprehend. All right, I'm about rounding up. The TBC message is saving souls, and your rewards are storing up in heaven. Now, ask yourself a question. That this person called the administration of the Kringle Society is talking about something that is metaphysical, something that is beyond physical, that is spiritual, and talks about heaven. Does that not point you to the direction we are going? We have followed this man for about 5 years, and I think I'm in a better position to say that TBC community will stand even after every systems go down. They also have a plan for the coin market cap to make sure that that system will become irrelevant long term. This may sound funny. Over the long term, there will be two systems that will exist. I call it the mystery of godliness and the mystery of iniquity. They would continue to exist side by side. But as God has planned it, the mystery of godliness will subdue the kingdoms of darkness and their mystery of iniquity for a while, for God's own purpose, for righteousness to prevail. These things will happen. It must happen. And you and I are being called upon to join us as we achieve this goal on a global scale. Now, how great will be your joy when you reunite with those you cared for here in heaven? Now, that's when that time comes. A whole lot is going to unfold. We are going to undo a whole lot of wrong. We will make this world heaven on earth. Now, it is my will to bring heaven to earth. Keep the faith, my son. This is what the administration ended with. Keep the faith, my son. So you have to learn to have a personal relationship with your creator. That's the conclusion of what this thing is saying. And if you have a personal relationship with your creator, it will be clear that you are not making a mistake. You are following the right course. All right. Now, that said, the last thing now we're going to talk about, I'm just going to play it maybe a minute or two. And this time it will play well. It will play very well. A minute or two. And then after that, I will talk about our Kringle Cash back office. And I'll call it quits for today. So, where was that message? Nope. Yo, this is it. Just 1 minute or two. I want us to listen. We are giving you an alternative. You will not be forced. You will see the elite system crumbling, and you will need to save yourself, because these guys are not stopping anytime soon. If you're thinking they are going to stop anytime soon, check out how many people have been vaccinated all over the world. And have you heard records of people that are dying? Of course, the media wouldn't tell you that. Wake up and come to our system. We are craving your indulgence. We are not begging you, okay? But we are asking you to choose and make a choice that will stand the test of time. As long as humanity stands, as long as God exists, the devils will not prevail. And I have chosen to stand as an intercessor to plead for those people who are still not able to come to terms of this thing we are doing. We are pleading, asking, come. We are asking because the window of opportunity will soon close. And if you can understand my words, I believe you will make a right choice. So let's listen. Listen very well.
The Bitcoin price has continued to fall on Tuesday, extending losses all the way down to levels not seen since January, retracing below 30,000 for the first time since the start of the year. We're speaking with Saifedean Ammous, author of The Bitcoin Standard, and now his new book, The Fiat Standard, and an independent educator at Saifedean.com. Dr. Ammous, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sifting, we're going to talk about all things Bitcoin. And I want to talk about, of course, your new book, The Fiat Standard, and what readers can learn and expect to learn from you. But first, let's talk about recent news. China, as you know, has been cracking down on Bitcoin transactions, essentially making over-the-counter transactions almost illegal. And of course, that has brought the price down to multi-month lows. What do you make of this news? Is this a concern for investors, or should people just shrug it off?
Well, it's a little bit difficult to say so early because we've had plenty of these false alarms before, particularly from China, where we hear news that says things along the line of Bitcoin's going to be criminalized, and then a few months later you hear it happening again and again and again, which shows that it hasn't really been quite effective at achieving its goals. It seems like this time is a little bit more serious. We've had many China bans before. It is a joke among Bitcoiners that China bans Bitcoin. It's banned Bitcoin 50 times at least so far. And every time it turns out that maybe either they go back on the decision, or that it wasn't really a ban. It was a ban of a particular operator, or a ban in a particular region. But it looks like this time it seems to be much more serious, and we can see it in terms of the hash rate declining. So a lot of miners seem to, in fact, be going offline. And also we can see it in terms of the price. And I think it makes sense that if this would happen, we would witness a decline in the price, because, these miners were essentially handled a very massive business shock, where their business has to stop operating in China, and they need to find a place. They need to find somewhere else in the world where they can relocate. So that's a huge new expenditure that they need to come up with. And basically, if you're a Bitcoin miner, you're in that business most likely because you have high conviction in Bitcoin and you want to hold Bitcoin. So when you are subject to a crisis like this that creates problems for your operation, the thing that you will have to sell is most likely going to be Bitcoin, because you have a lot of Bitcoin.
All right. So I wouldn't want to go forward on this, but then the point has been made. And what's that point? That the governments understand the concept of cryptocurrency, and they understand that it has the potential of taking power away from them. But they can't actually stop it. That's the truth. But then it's actually speaking hard on these miners. The miners are finding it difficult to continue because they have their hardwares and all that in their system. But then they can't continue. If they are going to continue, they will have to move out of that system. Why do they have to go through all this stress? That's because China has their plans of setting up central banks' digital currencies, and every other governance system are building on that because they don't want human beings to be free. They want to hold them under the elite controlled system. Trust me, it's not something that you would like to know much more about. So we are calling you because if you are under the protection of the Kringle Private Society, I can tell you, you are covered. By law, you are covered. There is no way the elites can come after us because they understand the principle of the law. They have continued to deceive humanity based on the foundation of their own system. It's lawful, and we accepted it. We consented it, though it was built on a concept of deceit. So TBC will give you an alternative. It will give you wealth. It will give you peace. It will give you joy. It will make this world literally heaven on earth. Let's conclude because I've spent a whole lot of time. So concluding now, I've talked about this. Now go back to our Kringle Cashback office and let's see how many people has taken part in this promo. And after that, I think that will be all. I wouldn't want to stress too much about it. Now, these are the numbers: 380 or 500. 380 of today's date is 23rd. So we have about I think 7 days to the end of this month. 7 days. Am I right? Yeah, I think I'm right. 7 days. Yeah, 7 days. So let's see how it goes between now and the end of this month. Now, I'm still having this mind that we will exceed 500 million. 500 active members that will pay yearly subscription. I'm still saying it now because we are in We are in 23rd of June, and then we still have 7 days. Usually, last minute, you will see people rushing to enjoy this promo. Well, take advantage of it while the offer still lasts. So I will stop here, and let me go back to my view to see how many people had made 1 or 2 contributions. All right. Thank you for reading. Well said. Admin, greetings. And it's a pleasure having you again on my broadcast. I am very grateful. So till I come your way again, most likely tomorrow. Do have a wonderful day, and God bless you all. Bye for now.